Greetings everyone, my dear friends and fellow Africans. Today I want to remind young Africans to take responsibilities of bringing changes and building the Africa we want. Just remember, it's you and I who will change this continent, not Chinese, not Europeans, not Asians or Americans, who will come and bring changes in the continent of Africa. As I speak to you now, Africa, we have Agenda 2063. And this agenda, if it's not carried very well by young Africans, the Chinese are taking this agenda. We are talking about Africa to have one language. As I speak to you now, when other countries are talking about starting teaching Swahili, the Chinese are sponsoring Mandarin in universities, and they are providing and sponsoring competition. And last week there is a competition of Mandarin in some universities in the continent of Africa, but you can't hear the competition of Swahili because we are not sponsoring our own language. The Chinese are very clear on what they want. As I speak to you now in the continent of Africa, there's a lot of young Chinese who are operating and working here in the continent of Africa. When we are talking about the Agenda 2063, we are talking about connecting the continent of Africa from Cape Town to Cairo in Egypt, from Djibouti to Dakar in Senegal. But all these infrastructure must be built by Africans. But today, our roads are built by Chinese. Our stadiums are being built by Chinese. So why are we going to school? What are we going to do in universities? Why we have engineers? Why our engineers are not participating in building our road? Show me any road in the continent of Africa that has been built by young Africans, but we are allowing the Chinese and others to build road for us. So when we are talking about Agenda 2063 in terms of infrastructure connecting the continent of Africa, it's the Chinese who are connecting this continent, so they know everything from Cairo to Cape Town. They know everything from Djibouti to Dakar in Senegal. So they understand everything. So we young Africans, we are in Africa, but because we are not participating fully in building this continent, maybe we don't know what opportunities are in South Africa, what opportunities are in Djibouti. But the Chinese, they know because they are on the ground. So I want to challenge you, young men and women, to take responsibilities. Don't think that you can't do at this time. I want to challenge you and to remember the age of Thomas Sankara, the age of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, the age of Patrice Emery Lumumba, the age of Kwame Nkrumah, the age of Nnamdi Azikiwe, the age of Nelson Mandela, when they fought for independence of this continent. At that time, there's no mobile, there's no smartphones, but they united and they come together. So why at this time of technology, this time of fourth industrial revolution, we Africans, especially youth, we can't come together and do things that is good and right for the continent of Africa? You know, sometimes we blame our government, but sometimes it's we young men and women who are not doing things to show our government that we can do. We are waiting for sponsoring. And what is so bad, as I said, the Chinese are sponsoring Mandarin in some universities in Africa. The same Americans, they are sponsoring what they are benefit for them. Europeans are sponsoring what are benefiting for them. So we Africans, what are we sponsoring? We young men, don't say we don't have we don't have capital. When we are talking about capital, sometimes maybe we confuse the term capital and money. I want to challenge you and me also. Look at the freedom fighters of this continent. They have no money. At that time there was colonialism. They don't have a bank, but they are so committed. They are so committed on the agendas. And at that time the agenda is to free Africa. So today our agenda is to liberate this continent economically, to own our resources, to be benefiting from our resources. So you can think it is difficult. ACON has decided to invest in mining in Congo. So we have many Africans who have a capital in terms of money, but they don't have a capital in terms of decision. So you can have money, but you cannot have decision. So it is nothing. So when we are talking about capital, we need all of them to have money and sometimes to have decision. And there's something that need more decision than money. So, my dear friends, especially young men and women, we have a duty to liberate this continent economically, to create employment for young men and women of this continent. As I'm speaking about Agenda 2063, the Chinese now are starting to teach Africans Mandarin so that it can be easier for them to communicate here in the continent of Africa. So when they come to Africa, they have an ambassadors who will welcome them, having conversation. So it is not difficult for them to work here in the continent of Africa. That's why they are teaching African Mandarin. The same colonialism doing. Today we are speaking English, we are speaking French, we are speaking Portuguese. So we are allowing the capitalists from those countries to come and communicate with us so that they can hire us in their jobs, in our own resources. So we as Africans, first of all, especially young men and women, let us come together. I know it is maybe difficult to organize a meeting because no one is sponsoring us, but it is very easy for Africans, especially young. I have seen President Macron organizing young Africans in Paris. Is Paris or in France? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the exact city, but in France. So what's difficult for us as young men and women to organize ourselves, maybe in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to discuss the agenda of this continent of Africa? How can it be easy for Africans to be organized in France, but difficult Africans to be organized in Africa? So that's why I say we have a great role to play as a young men and women of this continent. Our ancestors are crying on what we are just doing. We are busy running away from this continent. Just imagine if Kwame Nkrumah is running away from this continent. Mwalimu Nyerere is running away from this continent. Maybe till today we have still colonized. But they are so committed. There are some people who have been assassinated, like Patrice Lumumba, for his patriotism. So, we young generation of this time, what are we going to offer to this continent? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. The time has come for we young men and women to stop participating in conflicts. And what is so bad, every election in Africa, there is a fighting. My dear friend, we are losing our lives. Stop engaging. Let us having a great conversation. Maybe So stop engaging in distracting this continent. We are contributing in distracting this continent, we young men and women. Let us stop. Let us say enough is enough. We are distracting this continent for too long. Now we have decided to construct our continent. Even though you can have a lot of man, but the time will come, you will die. So why you are fighting for nothing that will not live with them? But if you live with the legacy of this continent, everyone will remember you. Today we are talking about Thomas Sankara, we are talking about Mwalimu Nyerere, we are talking about Kenyatta, we are talking about Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela. So we, this generation, what are we going to be remembered for contributing on this continent? So I think it's our time now to start looking on how we can build. Everyone where you are, if you are an engineer, please do something in your sector. If you are in agriculture, please make sure that you do something for the continent of Africa. If you are a journalist, please make sure that you speak well about this continent of Africa. We inspire our young men and women. If you are a soldier, please make sure that you protect our resources, you protect your fellow Africans. Don't go and fight with your fellow Africans. If you are a businessman and women, make sure that you are paying tax, you are doing very well, you are selling good product for our fellow Africans. Don't sell fake products. Everyone in your sector, please make sure that you do very well for this continent of Africa. You have acquired good education, please come back home. Even though there is maybe political instability, if you have any chance to add something, we have this social media. Please impress others to stop conflict, to stop fighting, to bring peace in your mother continent, Africa. You know, sometimes you can blame anyone, but we are the one who are participating on all those stuffs. We are participating in conflict. It's we young men, we are so trained. So if we say no, we don't like to participate on those stuffs, no one will force us. But because maybe, I don't know, our ideology, or we have been trained to accept everything, even though it is bad for our continent, I don't know. But all in all, let us take those who are things that are good and right for this continent. First of all, we need to come together, to unite, to have a peace and love among ourselves, so that we can do something that is very good, very greater for this continent, so that we can build the Africa we want. When we are talking about the Agenda 2063, we are going to participate fully. So that was my opinion, and let me end it here. So thank you for your time, for listening. But let us, everyone where you are, make sure that you do something for the continent of Africa. Thank you.